All right, welcome back to Getting Sober, again. My name is Jay, and today we're gonna go over 20 signs that you're actually sober. But first, if you care about your own sobriety journey as much as we do, we have hundreds of videos on the topics of sobriety and self-improvement, so make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. All right, let's get started. So regardless of where you are in your sobriety journey, every single one of us is gonna wonder at some point, how do I know if I'm actually sober? And for those of you that are sober, pause the video right now and comment down below, what are some of the signs that convinced you that you were actually sober? Now, it's one thing to not drink alcohol or to just be taking a break from drinking alcohol, but it's an entirely different thing to be sober and to know that you're in fact sober. To know that you're not gonna be tempted to drink. To know that things that used to trigger you to want to drink will no longer trigger you today or tomorrow. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So let's get right into the list of 20 signs that you're actually sober. Sign number one that you're actually sober is you stopped having alcohol cravings. Every single one of us knows what it's like to have cravings around lunchtime or as you're clocking out of work, or maybe when you get home from work and you actually open up the fridge for the first time. Now, how about during happy hour when you sit down for dinner, or maybe when you turn on the TV after dinner, or because maybe it's bedtime and you're not quite sleepy yet? Well, believe it or not, just after a few weeks of not drinking, you can start to see those cravings vanish almost entirely. And oh, by the way, for those of you that are sober, comment down below and tell everybody what your experience was. How long did it take for your alcohol cravings to go away? Now, for me personally, it took about a month before I just didn't crave alcohol anymore. And after that, it took about 3 months for me to be confident hanging out with friends and going to concerts and restaurants and back to the bar to shoot pool. All right, sign number two that you're actually sober is alcohol triggers are no longer an issue. Common triggers could be stress from work, or maybe an argument with friends or family members or your partner. Triggers could also be watching the game or getting invited to dinner, or maybe seeing your friends drink. What about turning on the TV and seeing somebody in a movie have a drink? All of these are situations that could easily be a trigger. Now, triggers can come in any environment that you normally associate with drinking. And you'll know that you're actually sober when these people, these places, these things, these events, and these occasions that used to trigger you to want to drink no longer have an impact on you wanting to have a drink. Sign number three that you're actually sober is you know that life is better now. Maybe you're watching this video and you haven't gotten sober yet, but you know that things need to change. And for those of us that are on the other side waiting for you to join us, we very much remember what it was like to not look forward to tomorrow, to remember what it was like to feel trapped, to feel stuck, to feel helpless, and to feel hopeless. To know that the reason why we felt so damn shitty in the first place is kind of our own fault. You'll know that you're actually sober when you can take a moment and pause and look around you and not see the chaos and the destruction, to not see the desperation and the despair, but instead to see signs of your growth, that life's heading in a direction that you can actually be proud of. Sign number four that you're actually sober is your mental health is improving. Show of hands. How many of you maybe thought you were gonna lose it there for a minute? All of us, right? And it's okay if you did, but remember that when we get lost, we don't stay lost. I will say that getting sober alone doesn't fix your mental health, but what it does do is it takes the gasoline out of the fire. And just like any fire, it needs to be starved of its fuel. You have to starve your life from the drama and the mayhem and the inconsistency that you've consistently gotten used to. You'll know that you're actually sober when you can stop and smell the roses, when you can enjoy a sunny day because it's a sunny day, when you can show gratitude again, when you can smile again, when you can start to embrace the fact that you get to live this life, not that you have to live this life. And that regardless of where you are in life or where you could be, you know that you're lucky to not be suffering a worse consequence of where you probably should be. Sign number five that you're actually sober is your physical health is improving. We know that alcohol damages the brain, the heart, the liver, the kidneys, and the digestive system. You'll know that you're actually sober because you're starting to see the benefits, such as your skin improving, less bloating, less fatigue, less brain fog, less stomach pain. You'll have better sleep, more energy, more strength, more stamina, and better gym results. You'll probably notice signs of having a lowered blood pressure, less aches, less pains, less headaches, less inflammation, and the list goes on and on. As a matter of fact, don't take my word for it. For those of you that are sober, please pause the video again and tell everybody what health improvements that you've seen since getting sober. Sign number 6 that you're actually sober is you're proud of yourself again. There comes a point in our daily binge drinking that we're fully aware that we're putting off life and we don't really care about our responsibilities. Saying things like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it someday, or I don't feel good, or I just don't feel like it. That's the time in all of our lives when we start to look in the mirror and we don't like who's looking back at us. When you're bitter, when you're angry, when you're resentful, when you feel like things just aren't ever gonna go your way. You'll know that you're sober when those negative thoughts start to go away and start to get replaced by being proud. Being proud of staying in when you would have gone out. When you wake up sober and ready for the day instead of wanting to hit the snooze button 15 times because you're too hungover, ... again. When you save money instead of wasting money. When you wake up sober knowing that yesterday you was looking out for you today. Sign number 7 that you're actually sober is you'll have more self-confidence. And just like we talked about in the previous example, there's gonna come a time in your sobriety journey that you're proud of yourself. And when you start to feel proud of yourself more regularly, guess what else starts to happen? You start to have more self-confidence, that's right. You'll start to know that yesterday you and you that woke up today are both on the same team. You start waking up knowing that you didn't say something stupid or do something stupid the night before. When you're not waking up barely remembering that you got into an argument last night with somebody that you actually care about, or even worse, with one of the only people left who even seem to care about you. You're not waking up with money missing out of your wallet, with bruises, scars, your car towed, or in jail. You'll know that you're finally sober when you're not waking up feeling like you're at a deficit at the expense of yesterday's good time. Sign number 8 that you're actually sober is you look forward to waking up sober. Let me ask the community, how many of you are glad that you woke up sober today? Everybody, right? How many times have you woken up disappointed in the fact that you're hungover, that you're anxious, that you're depressed, and it was all your own fault? The day's hard enough as it is, so why give yourself one more reason to resent yourself any further? You'll know that you're actually sober when you start to look forward to the day ahead. When you look forward to picking up where you left off yesterday. When you start feeling like you've earned your sleep, instead of just feeling like you escaped your life and responsibilities for 6 to 8 hours. Waking up sober is one of the best ways to start working on the most important relationship, which is the relationship that you have with yourself. Once you start knowing that you can trust you again, you've already won half the battle. Sign number 9 that you're actually sober is you're protective over your finances. Comment down below, how much money do you think that you wasted in your lifetime on alcohol? Personally, I'm sure that I easily wasted over $100,000 in my life on alcohol and other alcohol-related expenses. And of course, there's no getting that money back now, but the good news is we've stopped the financial bleeding. And just like most things in life, there's typically some sort of cost for the education that we need. You know that you're actually sober because you'll start to value your past self and honor your past self by not robbing your past self of the hard-earned money that you had to work so hard for. And unfortunately, you know what they say, sometimes we have to lose everything to really appreciate what we have. Sign number 10 that you're actually sober is your relationships are better, and that includes personal, professional, and romantic. One of the things that happens when we're stuck in the cycle of daily binge drinking is that we start to take other people in our life for granted. Because after all, it's really hard to respect other people, especially when we aren't respecting ourselves. It's really easy to start looking at the people around us like enemies, to play the victim, to play the blame game. When our lives aren't exactly the way that we want them to be, we get lost and confused and think that our friends are responsible for making us feel better. Maybe the person that we're in a relationship or our family members are responsible for making us feel better. And you'll know that you're actually sober when you start to value those relationships again. When you start to treat the people that you care about like they're on your team again, instead of treating those people like they're the ones who are keeping you from being all that you were supposed to be. All right, signs number 11 through 20 are bonus signs. We're gonna go through most of these pretty quickly, but first, if you like the video so far, don't forget to show your support by giving this video a thumbs up. All right, sign number 11 that you're actually sober is you're addicted to productivity. Now, chances are after you get sober, your productivity is probably gonna go through the roof. And speaking of productivity, in our last video, I shared my favorite app for learning and productivity. It's called Blinkist. Blinkist has over 6,000 book titles on the app, and it condenses the full version of a book into a 15-minute audio summary divided into small bite-sized chapters. So all you have to do is just listen along and get all the main concept of each book in just 15 minutes. And so if you have a short attention span like I do, try the Blinkist app for free by clicking the link in the top corner of the screen. Sign number 12 that you're actually sober is you take pride in your sobriety. One of the quotes that you often hear on this channel is, "Sobriety is mine and I'm not giving it back." Just like earning a degree, getting married, or getting a promotion at work, all of these things are earned. And how many of us want to just give up something that we earned? Nobody, right? And you'll know that you're actually sober because you'll remember how hard it was just to get 1 day sober, and how hard of a struggle it was to get 3 days sober, and 1 week sober, and 1 month sober. You'll remember the headaches and the hangover and the anxiety and the daily depression that led you to wanting to get sober in the first place. At some point, you're gonna find yourself going through your own version of hell. And I wanna remind you that the best way out of hell is to go through hell. And once you realize that this whole time that the gates of hell have been locked from the inside, you'll know that you're actually sober when you care enough about yourself that you don't want to put yourself through any more pain. All right, here's a couple of quick signs that you're actually sober. Sign number 13 that you're actually sober is you don't fear going out anymore. Sign number 14 that you're actually sober is you can think about alcohol without it being a trigger. Sign number 15 that you're actually sober is it doesn't bother you if your friends drink. I know this one's kind of tricky, but you'll get there. Sign number 16 that you're actually sober is you hate the idea of being hungover. Sign number 17 that you're actually sober is you know that drinking isn't worth it. Sign number 18 that you're actually sober is you think of alcohol as your toxic ex. Now, we've mentioned this concept many times before, and I think it's incredibly important to visualize alcohol just like you do with that toxic person that you broke up with. You broke up for a reason, remember? Now think of your most toxic ex that you're no longer in a relationship with. Maybe they were verbally abusive or physically abusive. Maybe they used to gaslight you and make you feel like you were crazy all the time. Maybe they were arrogant or narcissistic. And maybe too, you came to the revelation that you were sacrificing your alone time to cure yourself from feeling loneliness. In any power dynamic where you lose sight of your self-worth, any toxic person is going to take advantage of that, and they're the ones that's going to be in control. And just like that toxic ex that took advantage of your loneliness at the time, so too did alcohol. Alcohol took advantage of your physical health, of your mental health. And just like the person that you eventually broke up with, you never really felt better after spending time with alcohol either, did you? So let me ask you a question. Does it sound like a good idea to go back and hook up with that toxic ex? No. So repeat after me. Alcohol is my toxic ex and I'm not going back. Sign number 19 is another quick one, and that is you don't like hanging out with drunk people anymore. And last but not least, sign number 20 that you're actually sober is you feel like you can handle life again. Every single one of us is gonna have a different version of rock bottom. Maybe your rock bottom is you had to sell your vacation home, or maybe your rock bottom is you had to live in your car, or maybe you were temporarily homeless. Whatever rock bottom is for you, I wanna remind you that the worst thing that's ever happened to you has already happened to you. The past does not have a leash on you. You're not anchored to the depths of your previous pain. Maybe you're recovering from a traumatic relationship or a death in the family or a loss of a job, or maybe some involuntary time away from your family. There comes a point in all of our lives where life just feels too heavy, I get it. We start saying things like, what's the point of doing this anymore? There comes a point when our minds get so clouded by the standards of today's society, when our attention gets so hijacked from our inbox or from social media notifications, and with the never-ending stream of breaking news, natural disasters, or who to vote for. You'll know that you're actually sober when you can just let those distractions come and go. You'll know that you're actually sober when you start to catch up on your finances. You'll start to know that you're actually sober when your physical health is improving, when your mental health is improving, when you're starting to sleep better at night, and when you start to look forward to living another day. You'll know that you're actually sober when you start to feel like you've finally woken up out of the nightmare that your life used to be. When you've realized that sobriety isn't about treating the symptoms, it's about treating the cause. It's not about removing the drink from your hand, it's about removing the pain from your heart. You'll know that you're finally sober when you start loving yourself again. When you start waking up and actually like the sound of the birds chirping in the morning. You'll know that you're finally sober when you start to look in the mirror and you like who's looking back for a change. When you cringe at the thought of the person that you used to be, but you're proud of the person that you're starting to become. And you'll know that you're finally sober when you stop experiencing the fear of missing out. And last but not least, you'll definitely know that you're sober when you see that friend or family member that you haven't seen in a long time and they tell you the thing that we all want to hear, which is, you look happy. What's the secret? And if you identify with any of the 20 signs that you're finally sober, I want you to take pride in your sobriety and leave us a comment in the comment section down below. I want you to tell everybody that's reading the comments, also looking for inspiration, how your life's finally improved. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to show your support for everybody here in this sobriety community by giving this video a thumbs up. But if you're ready to binge watch another one of our amazing videos, click the link in the top corner of the screen. And with that, I want to wish you good luck on your self-improvement journey, and I will see you in the next video.
If you want to see another one of our videos, click here.